Boomer Sooner, hey, I just want to say thank you to all the fans that made this place so special all season long. Undefeated again. I think that is, give or take, 59 times that's taken place. So put another one on there, and super thankful for y'all. And Boomer Sooner, these players were amazing all season long. They're a special group, Team 129, never to be forgotten.
The Sooner phrase, play like a champion today and every day, means more to us than most other programs. So when it came to picking a head coach, Sooner Nation knew that only one man would fit this bill, and Joe Castiglione was going to go after him. Some, including myself, felt he should have never been fired in the first place, especially when you think back on the fact that the Sooners had not been back to a national championship game since he left. But what he did at Clemson made it clear that Brent Venables lives within the national championship game, and he was the man for the job. No man, not named Kirby Smart or Nick Saban, has sniffed as many national championships in this modern era of football. So BV, that was a home run hire. How much of a home run hire? In my personal opinion, BV is the second coming of Bud Wilkinson, and Sooner Nation will soon come to realize that. And I know what y'all thinking, Sooner brother and sisters. Bud Wilkinson barely lost games. He is the cream of the crop when it comes to OU coaching trees. But if you look back and you don't listen to the national media saying he went 6-7, and you really look at the record, Bud Wilkinson's first year, he won 7 games. Year 2, he won 10 games. And context is everything, so let me give y'all a little bit of context. In both of those seasons, Bud Wilkinson only lost 1 game. But if you look at the fact that Bud Wilkinson inherited a program that was on the rise, and BV inherited a program that was on a decline after a mass exodus occurred in Norman. And we all know the reason why. We don't have to get into that. But I believe that BW and BV are cut from the same pedigree.
You can't practice the pressure and the tension. And
you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And I believe it starts with the coaches. This, if it ain't, game 7 mentality from the coaches, then it ain't going to be for the players. If it ain't the biggest third and fourth down period that you've ever had in your entire life as a coach in that moment, then it's not going to be for the players. And I believe in living and dying in that moment. I believe in that. And I believe in that atmosphere. And it's our job to create that environment, to create that buy-in, to create that response, to create that sense of urgency and that sense of desperation. That's how you chase excellence.
Give us your best Coach V or Schmitty impression. We got guys, Coach. We got guys.
Hand out! Oh, here he comes right now.
Good dog.
Yeah, big dog. Got him.
You gotta stay committed. You know what I'm saying? Come on, big dog. You say you want to be great, but you're not living up to the standard. You say yes, sir. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean, dog? Be great at all times. We gotta go now, Coach. We gotta strain. What are we doing? What are we doing out there? Next group, big dog. Next group, big dog. Coach V, we gotta strain. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. And now, go.
It's not very common nowadays to be a man's man, but to be a man's man is the ultimate compliment that you can be given. BV is a man's man. He's a leader of men. Now, I'm not saying he will be Bud Wilkinson and go 47-0, or even do Bud Wilkinson's second best winning streak, which was what, 35-0 or 37-0? I can't remember. But what I am saying is BV's cut from that pedigree, so y'all better expect championships. He will deliver that to Norman.
All you family, we got something special coming in Norman. It's time to light it up. Boomer Sooner, let's go.
Michael Hawkins Jr. here, day after signing day, getting the work in, ready to get it rolling.
What's up, Sooner Nation, man?
Michael Hawkins Sr. was a former OU alum who played 4 years in the NFL and eventually went on to have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. His eldest son, Michael Hawkins Jr., is a former Allen/Frisco Emerson quarterback who finished as a 4-star in the 2024 recruiting cycle. The best way to describe Michael Hawkins Jr.'s playing style is dynamic, explosive. See, these recruiting sites, they labeled him as a dual-threat quarterback. And when we think of a dual-threat quarterback, we like to think of someone who runs a lot and doesn't really have a skill to throw the ball. But Michael Hawkins Jr. is an exception to that rule. Michael Hawkins Jr. is the total package. His athleticism just jumps off the page to you.
Go Drake!
Young players in the room and athletes understand that.
Yeah, he always talks to me about his experience and just how it would be like a legacy. But it was really my decision at the end goal. So it feels great just knowing that the relief is there and there's a new chapter in my life coming, and just getting to know like new people and building my relationship with the coaching staff is going to be really fun, and the players there right now.
Michael Hawkins Jr., or Mr. Dot Thrower as he likes to be called, his ability to be a dual threat uses athleticism, run, escape the pocket, and his ability to throw dots. This young man knows how to sling that pigskin around the gridiron. But that ability should have landed him a 5-star rating with these recruiting sites. And if y'all don't believe me, let's go ahead and look at a few stats out of his senior year. As y'all can see right there, Michael Hawkins threw the ball 209 times with 148 completions for a 70.8% completion rate, 2,562 yards, 37 touchdowns to 2 picks. He had 90 carries for 967 yards, 10 TDs, and Frisco Emerson finished with 11-2 record. But if you go down and look at Florida's DJ Lagway, a 5-star prospect, he was phenomenal. 402 in the attempts, 290 completion with a 72.1% completion percentage, 4,600 plus yards through the air with 58 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He carried the ball 99 times for 957 yards and 16 tutties. His team finished 12-0. And when we look at the other 2 5-star prospects on here, Dylan Raiola and Julian Sayin, Dylan Raiola threw the ball 250 times with 159 completions, a 63.6% completion rating, 2,819 yards, 34 TDs, and 1 interception. He carried the ball 42 times for minus 35 yards, 3 TDs, and his team finished 11-2. And for those who don't know, Dylan Raiola is the Nebraska signee Then we go down to Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin is an Alabama commit. He threw the ball 212 times with 158 completions, a 74.5% completion rating, which is phenomenal. 2,374 yards, 24 TDs, and 1 interception. He carried the ball 29 times for 186 yards, 4 touchdowns, and his team finished 10-1. Now, I ask y'all, outside of DJ Lagway, which DJ Lagway had more opportunity to throw the ball around, he got to do more, so his stats were more inflated. Outside of him and his inflated stats, whose stats look better out of those 5-star prospects than Michael Hawkins Jr.? Michael Hawkins Jr. had a 70.8% completion rating, almost 1,000 yards on the ground, almost 3,000 through the air, and he accounted for 47 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That is 5-star level talent. What he did went completely under the radar. Michael Hawkins Jr. dominated his final season and went further in the playoffs than DJ Lagway. Their productivity in big games matter. So let's look at their productivity in the playoffs. Julian Sayin, he didn't make it. Dylan Raiola, he had 16 attempts for 12 completions, 143 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions, and 0 TDs on the ground. Michael Hawkins had 20 attempts, 17 completions, 217 yards, 4 TDs through the air, 12 carries for 73 yards, and 1 on the ground, and his team won. Then we look at DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway had 42 attempts through the air, 24 completions, 335 yards, 2 TDs, 15 carries for 112 yards, and 1 touchdown on the ground, and his team lost. Now, of course, I didn't factor in divisions and all this, but Michael Hawkins Jr. played in a very high division, Class 5A Division II at Frisco Emerson, so he played a high level of competition, and he was dominating. Michael Hawkins is 6'2", north of 200 pounds, and dominated in a high division within one of the best places to play football in the country. What more does a recruit have to do to get that 5th star? What are these recruiting sites looking at? I don't know. I have no clue. You cannot be looking at the prospect, because prospects like Michael Hawkins Jr. should not go under the radar if y'all are staying consistent to what y'all claim y'all rank these recruits off of. I believe that it's more so which program you go to. Remember, anytime we see recruits go to Texas, Bama, Georgia, or Florida, they seem to get these high rankings. But hey, that's just my opinion. I cannot prove that to be fact. It is what it is at this point, though. When it comes to Michael Hawkins Jr., though, he was probably the most important recruit in the 2024 cycle for Oklahoma's recruiting class. See, Michael Hawkins Jr. brought in a lot of high-level recruits with him on the offensive side. Michael Hawkins Jr. was highly respected by his peers. Everybody seen what he was doing out there, and the lack of respect that he was getting by these recruiting sites when people knew that Michael Hawkins Jr. just might have been the best high school QB in the state of Texas. He was one of the main driving factors for the commitment of 5-star 2026 prospect Devon Mitchell, who eventually reclassified to 2025 and became a consensus 4-star. I don't understand how his ranking dropped so badly just by reclassifying when there's not too many tight ends in the 2024 cycle, and especially tight ends who were better than Devon Mitchell. Michael Hawkins was also one of the key driving factors, him and Lewis Carter, a linebacker who's already donning the crimson and cream and working his way up through the Oklahoma depth chart. These two men were the defining factors for the reason why Eddie Perry-Louis decided to commit to the University of Oklahoma. I also have a sneaky suspicion that a bug was placed in the ear of one Taylor Tatum. But Michael Hawkins is not only a dog on the field, he's a dog in the weight room as well. Michael Hawkins has completely transformed his body since being an early enrollee in December. The man looks like a totally different human being. And it's not to say that Michael Hawkins didn't look highly athletic before. Now he's just packed on more muscle. He's toned himself up a lot more, and he looks a lot more ready for the season. These are my favorite type of commits. The commits who want to hit the weight room hard, who want to hit the film room hard, and who want to get better by all means. I'm sure that Michael Hawkins Sr. taught Michael Hawkins Jr. how to conduct himself as a collegiate athlete who is most certainly on his way to the pros.
Michael Hawkins Jr. is making a splash.
Mike Hawkins was really good all spring, and anybody that saw us play, it was easy to see.
4-star quarterback in the class of 2024, Michael Hawkins. Whoa! Whoa! Hold on a second! This guy is ridiculous! Oh, no, tell me he's mobile too.
Strong arm. He can whip it. He can whip it with accuracy. Very mobile.
Oklahoma's done well with Texas quarterback, and Michael Hawkins looks to be the next in line.
The player that flashed the most was Michael Hawkins. I'm not even sure it's particularly close. He can rip it, and he can run. He exceeded every expectation. I was wildly impressed.
Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And that's one thing that Michael Hawkins most definitely has. He has that work ethic that will get him to where he needs to be. So I'm going to tell y'all right now, man, and a lot of y'all may not like this, but Jackson Arnold better worry about his job. Michael Hawkins is coming, and I'm not taking anything away from Jackson Arnold. I believe that Jackson Arnold was a 5-star, consensus 5-star for a reason. The young man has a cannon. He has an arm that very few possess. That is God-given talent. If he can put it all together, hopefully he will this season going into the SEC, playing against that BV defense, having them disguising coverages on him and throwing everything at him, even his mama's kitchen sink. So hopefully that unlocks the full potential that Jackson Arnold has, because if Jackson Arnold can get to that level that I think he can get to, Jackson Arnold is a Heisman candidate and will one day win the Heisman. I believe that Jackson Arnold has more skills, raw, natural ability than any one of these quarterbacks we see in college football right now. If he can make it to that level, he will be number one, and there's not even a close second. That man has talent upon talent with spades of even more talent. I'm not taking anything away from Jackson, but I will tell y'all, Michael Hawkins has a lot of that same talent. Now, he doesn't have that crazy cannon of an arm that Jackson Arnold has, but don't get it twisted. Michael Hawkins has a great arm as well. It's just not Jackson Arnold level. Jackson Arnold has an elite arm, a transcendent arm. If he can put it all together, he will be special, without a doubt. Jackson Arnold's arm alone will get him to the pro level. He'll get a spot somewhere on somebody's team, at the very least, the end of their bench, if his career does not go as planned in college. Michael Hawkins, on the other hand, he does not have quite the Jackson Arnold level of arm. I mean, at least not as consistent. There is some times where Michael Hawkins makes some plays and some throws that just wow you. It just wows you. But he doesn't show that enough. What Michael Hawkins has is an efficient arm. He knows when to make the right play. He knew exactly when to let the ball go. He knew exactly when to run. He knew when to escape the pocket. He knew when to create a play and make a play for himself. And even though he has that elite athleticism, see, Michael Hawkins was smart enough to understand, I cannot play hero ball. I cannot put on my Superman cape and try to take us to the promised land. I have to think this out, play smart, break down the defense methodically, and utilize each weapon that I have at my disposal. That is what makes Michael Hawkins an elite quarterback. But let's go ahead and look at a little bit of Michael Hawkins' film, because Michael Hawkins, he reminds me of a certain Oklahoma quarterback that a lot of y'all, I think y'all will be excited about. Now, I don't like to just compare present players to past players within a program. When I make player comparisons, if I do, which I don't really like to do, if I do, I like to get as close to that player as possible. So with this one, man, it really excited me because I believe that Michael Hawkins has the potential to be just as great as the player that I'm going to compare him to. Look at what Michael Hawkins does right here and tell me who this reminds you of. Look at this. Beautiful. That was pure beauty. Who does that remind you of? Look at a couple of these plays. And this was from Michael Hawkins' sophomore year. Early in his varsity development, he was just now really getting acclimated into the team. And he was already dominating like this, already looking this special. And family, we are going to get into the senior film, but I just want y'all to scan over this sophomore film, analyze it, and see everything that's going on. So when I make this player comparison, y'all can really catch it. You feel me? We need to look at everything from the rawest of his abilities to, you know, when he started to develop them and put it all together. I think that Michael Hawkins has the capability, and here's where we get into my player comparison. Michael Hawkins has the capability to become a Kyler Murray-esque quarterback. Well, let me just go ahead and be 100 with y'all about what I think. I believe Kyler Murray and Michael Hawkins are one and the same, and Michael Hawkins is the second coming of Kyler Murray. Now, he does not have that whipping arm that Kyler Murray has. Kyler Murray had a whip, but he does have some of the same throwing motions, some of the same fluidity to his game, the speed, the accuracy. It's just all the same. And I bet y'all didn't even notice. In the midst of me showing these sophomore highlights of Michael Hawkins, I added in some Kyler Murray highlights, and I bet y'all didn't even notice the difference. These two gentlemen have some of the same movement patterns. It's so similar, it is scary. These men have some of the same throwing motions. Once again, Kyler Murray has that whip. His whipping is beautiful. Kyler Murray just has a whip like no other. And I believe a lot of that came from his baseball background. His arm is just so strong. It's elite. It is both of these men's movement patterns that make them so similar. When they move, they explode off of their back feet. It's like a bow and arrow. Whenever it loads up and it shoots, when they scramble, they burst out. Both men are extremely shifty, with Michael Hawkins being a little bit more shifty in my personal opinion. But Murray is a little bit more quick. The elusiveness and arm talent is what stood out when examining Kyler Murray's film. And that's what stands out when you examine Michael Hawkins' film. So there's no way that Michael Hawkins is not a 5-star quarterback. Let's remember, Kyler Murray went number 1 overall in the NFL draft. If I'm telling y'all that Michael Hawkins is a Kyler Murray 2.0, that means that he will go first round. Michael Hawkins will go first round. And it's crazy that I always liken Jackson Arnold to a Baker Mayfield type of quarterback. And like I've been explaining to y'all, Michael Hawkins is a Kyler Murray type quarterback. It seems that history is repeating itself, especially when you think about if everything goes to plan, Michael Hawkins may have to sit behind Jackson Arnold for 2 years, and we may only get 1 year of Michael Hawkins, surely due to the fact that Michael Hawkins, in my opinion, will be an elite level quarterback. This level of quarterback doesn't need to return for a senior season. Why risk it? Go get your money. Go get paid, because he will get a first round grade. But look at it like this, Sooner Nation. We will finally get to see a Baker Mayfield-esque quarterback and a Kyler Murray-esque quarterback do what they do with a A-level defense. That's what was missing in those playoff runs. The defense. We will get to see that rerun 2.0 with a A-level defense. Now that is going to be scary. BV and the rest of his staff have been doing a great job at recruiting the QB position. What did they say? Now that Lincoln Riley's gone, OU's not going to get the elite level QBs. Man, he's been doing great. Kevin Sperry in the 2025 class has a cannon of an arm. He's very mobile, underrated mobile. Sperry was an Elite 11 finalist. And of course, Keelan Russell out of Duncanville High School, who committed to SMU first, then flipped to Alabama, ended up winning the Elite 11 and getting his 5-star ranking. We all know why that happened. Alabama commit. It's like I just said earlier in the video. If You commit to certain schools, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Miami, Ohio State, Texas, LSU. If you go to these schools, you will get an automatic 5-star bid. Proof is in the pudding. Just look at what occurs every year. They'll have a low 3-star ranked player that jumps everybody and becomes a 5-star as soon as they commit to one of these schools. I mean, hey, it is what it is. We develop talent over here, though. This is Sooner Nation. Like, I don't understand why y'all get mad when y'all see a 3-star recruit whenever y'all know that this staff is going to develop. And I know y'all get tired of hearing it doesn't matter about a star rating, but that's the truth. What matters is how you develop, because you can get as many 5-stars as you want. If you do not develop them, Texas A&M, UT, if you do not develop them, then what exactly does it mean to get a 5-star? If you cannot develop, it's all for nothing. You wasted resources and assets going after a player that cost way out of your price range for nothing. In this new NIL/pay-to-play era of college football, development means more than ever. It is key more than it's ever been, because more 5-star players are going to go to places that they have never been before. And they are going to realize why you have the big boys and you have the ones who are perennial bottom feeders. Why? Because they don't know how to develop. And when these 5-star level talents realize we're not making it to the NFL, they'll start to go back to the places that develop talent more than anywhere else. And OU is one of those brands that has always developed properly, even through the Milshoot era. Of course, that was on the offensive side, but now you have a more balanced coach that develops on both sides. It's important on both sides. You have strength and conditioning that gets them prepared for what is going on at the next level. So just be patient. What we do in the SEC this year will dictate what is to come, because this right here is going to set the ground roots foundations for recruiting for the next 20 years. So y'all just be prepared for this ride, man, and understand what BV is doing. Be patient. Be patient, Sooner Nation. Be patient, because it's all gonna come. And this is going to end in national championships. Not championship, ships. I love y'all. Follow me on Twitter, SEC_Boomer. Peace and blessings.